Apostle T, grace and peace, gang.
Grace and peace. Grace.
I just wanted to tap back in with you, man. The Governmental Sound by Terrance Frederick, man, is available everywhere you like to purchase books, or is it just on Amazon right now?
Yeah, anywhere. Yeah. You go to Amazon. Go to Amazon. That
Okay.
would be the best place. Put your reviews on there if you check it out.
Yeah, I know, just look down, the entendre with that, I talked about how this is just a very intriguing title. But then when you dig into the depths of this book, one of the spaces that you really touch on is how everybody's musical. And I think that's a foreign thought for me because as an artist, I'm sensitive about my artistry, you know what I'm saying? And I don't think everybody can do what I can do, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
So, like, tell me what makes you think that you can just say that everybody
is musical, right?
Everybody's musical, man. Like,
man, everybody is musical because everybody has the ability to appreciate music. And that doesn't just come from being musical, isn't just in your ability to create. Being musical is in your ability to hear and identify and notice things that are happening musically. So, for instance, when a person hears music, I don't know if everybody realizes this, that anytime we hear music, what we're actually hearing is our mind recreating from the vibrations that we get. So you could be listening to the same track I'm listening to, but because of your cranial development, because of the way that your body perceives sound and different things, you may not hear every note that I hear. You may not even be able to pick up on every tone that I pick up on. So basically, our minds as individuals recreates the sound, remixes the sound that we're hearing every time we listen to it. Now, why is that important? That everybody is musical, that everybody has the ability to appreciate, hear sound, because we are all called to participate in the experience of helping manifest His glory. That's why you see in corporate worship services, they have made some people with the tambourines, with the shofar blowing the horn, or, stomping or whatever they do. And He says even in the scriptures, hey, lift up your voice, clap your hands. We all have the ability to contribute to the corporate atmosphere of worshiping Yah. And so we are all musical, but we all may not even know. Even when you're not trying to be musical, somebody who is more trained and adept to it, they can take the rhythmic patterns of your voice. They can take the syncopation and the wave of your voice, and they can take a sample of that and make a whole track off that. So we're musical just because we are human beings, but we may not all appreciate that aspect. So the reason why that's important is because once you realize and accept the fact that I have a responsibility to contribute to that experience of bringing glory to Yah, offering up praises, celebration, thanksgiving, then you're open to Him doing new things in you. So we are all musical. Now, we all don't have the same capacity to do the same thing. Everybody is not a rapper. Everybody's not a singer. There's many people who think they're singers and are not. So there's many things where we have limitations, but we have to find what it is that we are graced in and tap into that. Some of us are rhythmic, but we don't have tone. Some of us are tonal. We can hear sound, but we don't have rhythm. But we all have a place in it. And it's all built by design so that we can contribute to the worship experience. Because He never desired or intended for just certain people to lead us in worship, and we just sit back and let them do it without our participation. So, yeah, we're all musical. That's the revelation. That's something I didn't even think that was a reality. And a lot of people think like that. Artists, musicians feel like, hey, we're the musical ones. Y'all just really, big us up. But really, we should be encouraging people to be invited into the process of worship, to participate in the worship experience. So yeah, we are all musical, not only by instruction, but by design. another reason why that's important too is because when we think about the reason why we respond to sound the way we do, it was for survival purposes. It was for the purpose of when you can hear a lion is coming, a wolf is coming, danger is coming. And so we needed to be able to identify sound from a distance, close up. And so it's built into our nature to be aware of sound. Now, what makes that musical, or what makes that something that can be appreciated musically, a lot of times you need somebody that can help you bring that out. And that's what we're here for, to show you. You may not think you are, but you are, you know. And even in terms of rhymes and speaking, if you ever listen to Martin Luther King and you hear his speeches, it's musical. You can hear him mastering sound and understanding that was a part of his glory and authority in the civil rights movement. It wasn't just his words, but it was his articulation of it. It was his demonstration of it. So for some of you who don't think that you're musical, I challenge you to tap into it. You have it in there. That doesn't mean you're supposed to be a musician. Just because we're musical, it doesn't mean we're supposed to be musicians, but we have a part to play with the corporate glory.
I think that, when we pay attention to the detail of the design, like you specifically said that by design, we have two ears, and one mouth, right? And I think it's relatable because you're capable of processing and hearing music uniquely as an individual. Like you said,
Right.
Not everybody is going to be able to hear the same things the same way.
Right.
Which is why there's uniqueness, or there's a unique aspect to producers.
Right.
Everybody produces differently, and the music is different. It's not the same. So when you go out there and you look, there's way more producers than there are music artists or rappers, right? And having an ear is actually a gift,
Right.
if you can hear well.
Right.
So my question to you, just given that, do you think that there's value in having things like awards for Kingdom people, like the Stellar Awards, and these things that, because we function, like we have functions in the earth, right? So it's like, do we need that, or should that even be something that we glory to, or we strive to achieve? Because I see that in a lot of Kingdom music artists these days.
I think we need it, but we need more new awards created, because the awards really is a platform to appreciate the work that's been done. We need more awards. We don't just need the Stellar Awards or whatever awards on different platforms. We need to create more, because anytime that you have a system or a setup where you're appreciating artists, you actually are bringing awareness to the artists, uniqueness to the artists. And when you start talking about things on that level, you got gatekeepers, people who are designed and set up in place to make sure that other people aren't heard because they haven't gone through the rites of passage, or they haven't gone through the things that they need to go through to prove that they are worthy to the powers that be, that their music is valuable. So we need more awards. We need people who just say, hey, I want to just appreciate these artists these independent artists that are doing their thing, whatever. I think that's important to do it.
I would agree with that. I think there's a specific sound that those platforms and gatekeepers are looking for.
That's true.
And I think I kind of war against that status quo as an artist, because I'm like, I feel like my creativity is limited doctrinally and sonically in the space. What message do you, and I'm pretty sure I'm not the only person that feels like that. You know what I mean? Like, what message do you have for that artist that feels like, you know what, I gotta be even countercultural to this established thing,
Right.
so that I could be fully, you know, operating in my creativity and doing
Right.
it.
So I believe that artists need to, at some point in the trajectory of what they're called to do, need to graduate from into different levels. So on one end of the spectrum, as an artist, your mindset is, I want to get on. I want to be heard. I want people to hear what I'm saying. I want people to hear my music. I want them to buy what I'm having. At some point in the maturity, in the maturation of what you're doing, we need to graduate from just wanting to be artists and to accepting the fact that he's called us to be hosts. So what we did, even back in the day, we went from traveling all over the East Coast, Midwest, going different places, ministering, singing, doing this kind of stuff, to hosting our own events where we gathered people to come to us. And we said, hey, we're not going to be the one to try to get this interview, get on here, whatever. We're going to do what we do, but we're going to actually call people to us. We become hosts. And that changes the game because it moves you from a place of seeming like it's a place of desperation, seeming like it's a place of I need to be validated, to a place of I know who I am, I know my identity, and I also know I'm called to reproduce after my own kind. And I know there are other people who need the lessons that I've already learned. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to gather people to where I'm at and validate them. So there's a certain place where we have to be, where we have to move from wanting validation to being the ones where we give validation. And that's not something where it's not an either or. I believe it's an arch in somebody's ministry life where you move from being the one on milk, being the one needing to be fed, to where you're solidified and you say, now I need to feed into other people. And it's a journey. That's a journey right there.
Yeah, I think I'm in that space, even with building this platform, you know, thinking in media and just creating content, being the answer, you know, for my own problem, my
Right.
own shortcomings.
Right.
I'm finding more value, more, you know, more validation than I do as an artist, right?
As an
Because I know
artist,
who I
right.
am.
Right.
I know that I'm a dope, super creative, talented artist, and I think I got enough validation already.
Already. Yeah.
you know what I'm
And
saying?
I think a scripture that comes to mind is when he says, Adam was a living soul, but the last Adam, Christ, was a life-giving spirit. And we have to get to a point to where we're not just trying to survive and live, but we are here to give life to other people. And that's where our real identity comes out. You know, our real identity comes out. And that's what we say even in the book, where it's beyond the music. You know, some of us, the only reason why God allowed us to do music was to train us in ministry so that we could actually move from there to something else. Some people will, die on the fact that I'm an artist, but that's okay. Maybe you're an artist for a lifetime, but maybe he just used artistry as ministry development and training. Maybe he used that as training ground so that you could learn how to minister before people, how you could learn how to navigate and deal with people. I think some people get so stuck in that artist mindset that they don't know that God may have a full-fledged, full ministry or industry in you, and you're stuck with just being an artist. Now, I'm not saying that anything's wrong with that, but it may be something more. It may be a pastor in you. So you singing songs and rapping or doing whatever, but you may be a full-blown prophet or pastor, whatever, but you're stuck in that statue. Okay, this is what I said that I was, and this is who I'm going to be. I'm going to be a poet. He's like, but didn't you know that the prophets were poets of the old time? The prophets were the poets. So, but I had to let you know, I had to help you learn how to be comfortable in being poetic so I could show you the rest of your calling. And I believe that with most people who are involved in any kind of ministry, edutainment, entertainment industry, most people who are involved in that don't really have a clue that the Lord wants to disciple them from a place of just artistry to a place of full-fledged ministry or industry. And the reason why I'm using those interchangeably or using those to contrast artistry, because as an artist or as like a freelance artist, you do your art when you want to. If I want to draw this piece, I'm drawing it because I want to. Or if I want to write this song, I'm doing it because I want to. But there's a greater weight upon you when you actually have a commission, have a charge, have a mandate, have a responsibility for people to help grow them up in maturity in the faith. And he wants us to move from being children, and being tossed to and fro, and to be solidified and have some foundation. And so that's why I believe it's another reason why it's very important to understand the governmental sound, because we all can make a sound, but we need to come up under government, come up under the kingdom. He said, seek first the kingdom, or you could say the government of Yah and his righteousness, and all these other things will be established. So it's just moving up in maturation. Where we start is not where we're supposed to end when it comes to our ministry expression.